If I'm not able to afford food, which is a basic requirement, if I'm not able to get fare to work so that I can make money, if I'm not able, because these are the basic, to give fare to my children to go to school, I will hardly think about shoe cleaning. And why am I not able to do this? Look at the payslip, those who are salaried Kenyans. I can tell you for sure some, and I'm sure my colleagues will agree to me, some of us here, we already have arrears in our mortgage and car loans.
Kitui Central MP Makali Muli has raised alarms over the economic hardship facing salaried Kenyans, citing overtaxation and poor budgetary decision as key contributors to the growing financial constraints. Speaking on Citizen TV Daybreak Show, Muli painted a grim picture of the current state of economy, warning that many employees are struggling to meet their financial obligation due to the shrinking disposable income.
If I'm not able to afford food, which is a basic requirement, if I'm not able to get fare to work so that I can make money, if I'm not able, because these are the basic, to give fare to my children to go to school, I will hardly think about shoe cleaning. And why am I not able to do this? Look at the payslip, those who are salaried Kenyans. I can tell you for sure some, and I'm sure my colleagues will agree to me, some of us here, we already have arrears in our mortgage and car loans.
According to Muli, the country's taxation policy have placed the unbearable burden on workers, leaving many unable to keep up with the mortgage and car loan repayment. As a result, financial institutions are recording increased cases of loan arrears, a situation that could worsen if the economic policies remained unchanged. He pointed out that the government's spending priorities are further complicating the situation. Instead of channeling funds toward development projects that could stimulate economic growth and create jobs, a significant portion of national budget is allocated to the recurrent expenditure such as salaries and administrative costs. This imbalance, he urged, is preventing the economy from expanding at a rate that can support the growing population. Muli further criticized the budget-making process, claiming that political interests at State House have influenced key financial decisions, leading to the misplaced priorities. He noted that experts tasked with planning the country's finance are not making decisions based on economic growth, but rather on short-term political consideration. This, he warned, is undermining Kenya's ability to achieve long-term stability. The MP's concerns comes at a time when many Kenyans are grappling with a high cost of living, exacerbated by increased taxation under the Finance Act. Recent adjustments have seen higher PE tax rate, increased VAT on essential goods, and additional levies such as the housing fund deduction. These measures, although designed to boost the government revenue, has significantly reduced take-home pay for workers, making it harder for them to afford basic necessities and sustain their lifestyle. Financial experts have echoed Muli's sentiment, warning that continued reliance on high taxation without considering economic growth will further weaken the purchasing power of citizens. Reports from Bank Institute indicate the rise in non-performing loans, with many borrowers struggling to meet repayment deadlines to reduce their incomes.
Some will be surprised that when we are doing the annual estimates, we would say 70% recurrent, 30% development.
Right.
That is what is expected from the Public Finance Management Act. But come supplementary one, you realize we always come to around 20% development and decrease the recurrent expenditure. If by bad luck, and for the last 2 years we have not managed to do only one, we have managed to do more than one supplementary budget. If by bad luck you get to supplementary two, you'll be reducing that development budget to almost 15%. So we've been saying that the problem we have in this country is that when you spend so much on recurrent and you don't put money on development vote, then you don't grow the economy, because the economy can only grow when you have money, when you're doing development activities. So you have a workforce which is sitting in offices, being paid salaries, but doing very little in terms of producing goods and services for the country.
Right.
And this is where the problem is. And basically what is happening is, over time, I remember at one point when I used to work in Treasury, budget department is now a directorate, would give the technical advice. And whatever technical advice they would give is what will be followed in the country. This Kenya Kwanza government has serious confusion. We have a directorate which is in Treasury, and we have another team called Budget Experts, which resides in State House. And that's the team which is causing confusion to this country, because they are the people who are messing the budget-making process. You know, in a situation where, you know, when you go to Treasury, you find serious technocrats. You have economists there, you have accountants. Yes. You know, statistics are statistics, and we always say statistics don't lie. But the way I look at it is that when you talk about inflation coming down, and I think we have had this debate in the past, we have said the reason why inflation is coming down is because of the supply side of, it's actually a supply-driven kind of inflation, where we are saying even those Kenyans who are producing food and other goods and services, they are produced, but the demand side of the equation, where those who are supposed to be buying have no purchasing capacity. We talk about disposable income, and we have seen those three young people who are talking about the shoe shining business, where they are saying, I've been sitting here, I have only 3 clients, and more likely I will not get more clients. Just follow that statement. For you to go for your shoes to be cleaned, you must be having some money in your pocket. For you to go for shoe cleaning, you must have, in terms of hierarchy of needs, shoe cleaning I don't think comes even near in terms number 10, could be number 20. So the question is, if I'm not able to afford food, which is a basic requirement, if I'm not able to get fare to work so that I can make money, if I'm not able, because these are the basic, to give fare to my children to go to school, I will hardly think about shoe cleaning. And why am I not able to do this? Look at the payslip, those who are salaried Kenyans. I can tell you for sure some, and I'm sure my colleagues will agree to me, some of us here, we already have arrears in our mortgage and car loans, basically because the payslip cannot sustain. This government, when they came to power, they introduced what we call the share levy, which is 2.75%.
Yeah.
They brought on board the housing levy, you know the percentage. They have brought in the increase in NSSF, which was not there. And all these things are targeting the payslip. So what has happened to the payslip? The payslip has been reduced to a level where people have no money in their pockets. And when people have no money in their pocket, we might want it or not want it, basic economics. And economics is a social science. So there are things you must flow into place. If you don't get them right, you don't get them right, even if you are the president. The thing is, when people have no money in their pockets, they will not be able to buy goods and services. If they don't buy goods and services, that will contract production, because those who are producing will not be able to produce because there's no market for their goods and services. When you contract production, you cause a reason for people to be sacked from employment, because why would you have people who are sitting idle, they're not producing? So you reduce employment. People go home, they've been sacked. When people go home, what happens? The taxes you had projected to collect in terms of income tax, you don't hit your target. So it's a circle. You might want it, you might not want it. That's the truth. And that's what we are saying. Anytime you get a leader who is progressive in terms of assessing people, the first thing is you put money to your people's pocket. And as a result of that, you trigger serious economic activities. By doing that, you grow your economy, you collect more income, you're able to talk about reducing. I sympathize with my colleague, Honorable Mbandi, when he says, I will be able to reduce taxes. How do you reduce taxes when the economy is not producing? It's through production that you're able to collect more by reducing the rate, and you have more people paying because they have money in their pockets. What is happening now?
Yeah.
What is happening is, majority of us who are Kenyans, we are going to the extent possible to make sure that we avoid paying tax. If I get a small avenue where I can avoid paying that tax, I run with it.
Yeah.
So tax avoidance has become an issue. And that's why you see now KRA is saying most of their targets are not being achieved. So these are very basic issues. The other thing is, we are saying money, the economy is growing. But let's look at the distributive aspect of that growth. We have some of our colleagues, and Anyanga has been in parliament with me for some time, who last term, the 12th parliament, we could borrow each other 100,000.